When we talk about making your portraits look better, we are normally talking about making them look as professional and captivating as possible. Of course, art and what makes a good photo can range from person to person, but for this class, we're going to focus on what we consider the 6 elements that make a portrait great. We want to make a just okay photo turn into something that looks great. All these ingredients can build on each other and can be used to create this great photo. So keep all of them in mind as we progress. We're going to go more in depth on each of these elements, but they're good to keep in mind before, during, and even after taking the photo. Trying to keep all of them in mind to prep so you can start to check them off and focus on your interaction and posing. There's the background with the composition, lighting, exposure, depth of field, color, and posing while interacting. Composing and background is usually the first place to start. You want to make sure that composing your subject while at the vent, you don't want to be letting it distract from your overall photo. You want the background and composition to work together. Lighting can range from hard light to soft light and can be natural or flash based. A lot of times you won't have full control of the lighting, and sometimes you will. The idea behind lighting is to just make it work for you. By adapting to it or manipulating it, we want to make it serve your photo. Exposure works in tandem with lighting, really. You want to expose to your style and what you're trying to say with your portrait. Often we want to make sure that the exposure is set so that we can see the eyes and the face clearly, but sometimes we can expose to create a mood or a feeling in almost any situation. Depth of field. Depth of field, or how much is in focus and how much is out of focus, is one of the main factors that separates smartphones and point and shoots from interchangeable lens cameras. It's also the first thing you can use to make your photo look more professional. It's become a normal aesthetic of a pro-looking photo to have minimal depth of field. We'll talk about how to achieve that and how sometimes in portraits you don't always need to. Color can include the actual color of the photo to what the background looks like to even what our subject is wearing. It can be subtle or it can be the main focus. The main idea behind color is that you're paying attention to it and that you know how to get what you want. Posing a person and interacting could be its own class. We're going to go over the basics on how to pose people in certain situations and how to recognize when to say something and when not to. We always want to pose our subjects for our specific shot, but sometimes it's best to let them do what naturally comes to them. Sometimes their calmness and their ease will come across naturally in the photo and will be the best photo. So those are our 6 tips for making a portrait look great. It's best to try and keep all those in mind as we build upon them and before you take your photo.